SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
I'll pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Roll A, fade up on A.
Southern Miss to the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
Well, let's go, everybody. Super Talk Eagle Hour is back on the air. We're in the Southern Bank Course studio. Glad you're with us on a Monday. I want to thank everybody for all the kind words received since last Friday in our 10th anniversary show. We really greatly appreciate that. And, of course, though, we wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for all of you good folks that listen to our show every week, and we thank you for that. It's Monday, and that, of course, is when we talk to baseball coach Christian Ostrander. Golden Eagles go 2-2 on the week. They do win the weekend series at Old Dominion. Still getting a lot of national love and attention. We're happy to say 10th in this week's D1 top 25, so they remain in the D1 top 10. They actually go up 4 points to number 12 in Baseball America. Stay even at 13 in the coaches poll and 15th in perfect game. Coach Christian Ostrander joins us. Coach, let's look back at the weekend. A lot of hits. 15 hits one game, 16 the other game, 10 hits, I believe, in the middle game. And short of 2 innings where things went bad in the bullpen, good pitching, a series weekend win, but one that you could have easily swept. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about easily sweeping anybody. I think, things could have gone different, in my opinion, if we had some performances out of the pen that we needed to have on one of those games. I mean, but, we didn't get it. And, thankful for these guys, staying in the moment and coming back on Sunday. And even after we cough up that lead by another terrible bullpen performance, to just keep fighting, man, and just refuse to lose that game. That was the message in that dugout after we lost that lead, and they took ownership of it, man, and then got it done. Very pleased with that.
Yeah, early throughout the year, the bullpen has just been invincible, and if there have been some struggles, it's been with the starters. But I thought this weekend, both Graydon Harris and Camden Sundstrom, from a starting standpoint, pitched very well, Coach Oz.
Yeah, I was pleased with that. I mean, quality start by Graydon, 2 runs, 6 innings. Cam was on pace with that. Had to get him in the 5th. Made the right, 100% the right call to go there. When we did after it's a 3-3 game in the 6th inning and 2 runners on. And Colby, he's been one of the best here for years, and he didn't get it done. And nobody wore that any harder than him, I assure you.
But you made the exact move every coach in America would have made. I mean, you brought in both in the Friday game. I keep getting them mixed up, and even the Sunday game. I mean, you bring in the relief pitchers at the same time. You've been kind of doing it all year, and those guys have stepped up all year long. Just a bad weekend for them.
Yeah, that's right. But we're at a point now where we talk about just the ownership and playing complementary baseball. Of hey, my job, I got a job. And these guys, the hitters, played their tails off this week, and our defense was phenomenal. And with especially how inconsistent we've been a little bit, we don't have time for a weak link, man. I mean, it happens. But if it happens, make them beat your best. And I don't know if that happened this weekend. So it's a learning lesson, and it definitely was addressed and continue to be addressed.
It had to be something, Coach, for you to see those guys respond after dropping that lead in the series decider. You drop that lead, and then they come back and tie it in the 8th, and then take the lead in the 9th. I mean, that was pretty impressive after dropping a lead like that for the second day in a row.
Well, the whole weekend, the vibes in the dugout and their temperament and our hitters has been very, very positive, very good. I thought the guys swung the bat extremely well this weekend. They did their part to win 3 games. We just didn't do our part on the mound to win 3 games. Came close, but to no avail. But yeah, to see those guys stay the course and just kept grinding out at bats, and then to have Cam Clark say, "I got it," I got it. So that's kind of what happened. So it was good to see, and that was a gritty win that we needed.
Coach, we've all heard the phrase, putting out small fires and things like that. But really, when you managed the team this weekend, it was almost like that. You've been consistent pitching wise. Now it's kind of got off track. Then the hitters were slumped, and now, it's just something always that you're having to deal with.
Yeah, it's a game of failure. So you always have something you got to deal with.
We're having some issues with our headphones.
I can't hear anything.
Oh, you hear that better?
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
better.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that, Coach. We got it straightened out. Go ahead, Dave.
Coach, could you just touch on Seth Smith's plate appearances this weekend? Thought he was really encouraging step up from the previous weeks.
Yeah, he was great. He was flying around at shortstop, making defensive plays left and right, and helped us win 2 out of 3 for sure, and did everything he could. But I thought he swung the bat well and competed very well too.
Coach, as you look at it from 30,000 feet right now, because it's your opinion that matters the most, where are you in regard overall to how you feel about where your ball club is right now? I'm the most critical one of anybody on these guys, and I'm, we could be, 32-0, and I probably wouldn't be satisfied. But to me, it's we're close. We're close getting back to where we need to be. You just need some of these young men to perform to their capabilities, and I'm not ever putting it all on them. We got to do our part as coaches, but at the end of the day, ultimately, it's them being that link of a chain when their time comes to keep that chain together, and you got to do that collectively. So it's such a ultimate team sport, ton of variables. And one small variable, any variable that gets out of whack could influence the whole thing. So we just got to clean that up and play complementary baseball. And if we get back to doing that, I'll really like where we'll be. Yeah, you've been doing this a long time. I'm going to guess you've seen other seasons like this, though. Am I right? Where we're just saying this, there are examples. Your bullpen is lights out. The team gets into a bit of a hitting slump, then the team comes out of a hitting slump, and your bullpen, a couple of bullpen guys kind of go into a little bit of an unusual performance. This is nothing new to you, I'm going to gather.
No, it's pretty much sums up part of a collegiate baseball season. Very few times is it do you ever go through it 56 games without some inconsistencies. Without some ebbs and flows and stuff. So, it's hard. I don't like it, don't accept it, don't want it, don't agree with it. But at the end of the day, you got to endure it and just try to use those times as building blocks of teaching tools and trying to, just help guys get out of it too sometimes. Just, because these aren't professionals, and as much as I wish they were, they're still figuring things out too as they go, and sometimes they just need those reminders. But yeah, you see it. I've seen it every year. I deal with it. As long as I've been a pitching coach, it goes through times where I'm going like, what happened to this guy? Where'd he go? And then he's back. And it's just another example of the mindset part of it.
You've talked about you talked about Seth Smith a minute ago. I want to talk about one of my boys, Cross Civilly. It's not that he's pitched poorly. But it just seems like from an outsider's point of view and an untrained eye, Coach, he's a little bit off. Is it anything mechanically, or is it just you can't be perfect all the time?
Yeah, I don't know, Kelly. That'd be a great question to ask him. But I can't say it's not always mechanics. If it's mechanics, then it's mind first, because you control your mind, then the body's going to move consistently, which is mechanics, and then the ball acts the way you want. So. He's a veteran. He's
right.
A 250 inning veteran. So at the end of the day, it's ultimately the ownership has to be on him, in my opinion.
And you brought up Camden Clark, who obviously has just been lights out. But obviously you've extended him some over the past weekend, pitching more than just coming in the ninth inning. Is that something we're going to see moving forward? Maybe you get a good 2, 3, 4 innings out of that young man a couple times on the weekends? Absolutely. If the game calls for it, then we'll do it. And didn't really want to have to do it Thursday night when we had a 6-run lead, but once again, a bullpen piece wasn't reliable and forced our hand. And if that bullpen piece on that night was reliable, then you might be bringing Camden Clark in on a 3-3 game in the 6th inning on the next day.
And it's just that's the butterfly effect of how every little thing matters and it affects other things, positive or negative. So that's the stuff. That's the complementary part of baseball or playing the game that we need to get a little better at.
Of course, he's that's a great asset to have, though, right? A closer that you can now extend for 3 or 4 innings, and he appears just as good in every inning.
Oh, it is. He's a dog. But he's definitely, one of the best arms on the staff, if not the. And you want him getting more innings, and so it was by design. We went into that this past weekend with that as our plan moving forward.
We're talking to head baseball coach Christian Ostrander, Golden Eagles 10th in this week's D1 poll. We're going to have to check with the left-hander, Kelly, that Golden Eagles been in the top 10 a lot of weeks this year. I'd be curious to see how that stacks up against history.
I presume you're meaning the Hall of Famer Jack Duggan.
Yes, the home of the 59-mile-an-hour fastball.
No, it was 29.
29, I'm sorry. On a good day, maybe he hit 59 once.
50-mile-an-hour winds, maybe.
Yeah. We'll continue our conversation with Coach Oz, other side of the break, Golden Eagle baseball coverage on the SuperTalk Eagle Hour.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour. The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Second segment of the program every day, of course, sponsored by Eagle Tire West. And that's where Matt Warren and his staff sell premium Goodyear products. They do full service work on cars and trucks. They've been in business since 1985. Most importantly, they're family owned and operated locally. Eagle Tire West, they're big Southern Miss supporters. Goodyear Tires, full service for your car or your truck. I'll tell you another big supporter, Genesis of Hattiesburg, the official auto dealer of the Eagle Hour and big supporters of Southern Miss baseball. Genesis sedans and SUVs are all at Mississippi's exclusive Genesis dealership, and that, of course, is located on Highway 98 West in Hattiesburg. All right, no rest for the weary. Coach telling us off air that they were early in the morning getting home on on Easter morning, I should say, not Christmas, Easter morning. And now short rest, got a baseball game tomorrow night against a team, UNO's never non-competitive, it seems to me. And then a tough trip down to South Louisiana, Coach. None of that upcoming is easy, particularly that trip down into Cajun country, is it?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, we'll have our hands full, and it'll be a good fight. Always is when we go in there or they come in here. It's always a lot of fun and great program, great coaches, and we'll have to compete well.
Coach, your guys bang out 41 hits in 3 games this weekend. So any talk of being in a batting slump over the weekend is foolish. They were not. Can you put your finger? I've asked other coaches this before. I think I know the answer, but can you put your finger on what is this magic pixie dust in the air that causes teams to just contagiously start hitting the ball after being in a slump?
Well, I mean, I think slumps are defined by numbers and wins and losses, I guess, and rightfully so. But, you can also be hitting the ball exactly the way you want to and seeing it well and feeling good and not getting rewarded, which affects wins and losses and numbers. And I think you got to just stay humble in the whole process of it because it's so hard. You're going to have times where it's you're just not seeing it great, and there'll be times where it looks like a volleyball coming at you that big, and you can whack it. So it's a tough thing, and there's so much mental involved with it as well as physical, and the elements of a pitcher trying to get you out and keep you off timing. So it's just so many variables. But yeah, just as quick as you can get in one, you can get out of it, and things go back the way they were.
I'll tell you, and I'll turn it back over to the guys. One kid you got to be really proud of is Davis Gillespie, and I had a chance to spend some time with him last week out at the baseball complex, and we talked, Coach, about the fact, he got pretty much lost his job at the end of the year last year and stayed in town all summer, gave a lot of credit to some of your assistants who worked with him, and man, this kid is really swinging the bat, and he just looked like a beast this weekend at times, didn't he?
He really did. He hit some balls very, very hard that he got rewarded with. Hit some balls very, very hard that he didn't get rewarded with. And but no, he's a good hitter. He's good. He's a threat, and just a great young man, and just proud of him and what he's doing.
On the topic of home runs, it was really nice to see Matthew Russo finally get one out, Coach. I mean, that's a guy you guys really need to get you some home runs from, production from that way.
Yeah, it was. He made a good swing on that.
Coach Ostrander, I want to talk to you about pitching again. I love the mental part of the game and decision-making process. Obviously, the decisions that you make to bring in relievers are a little bit different than starters just by the way that those different positions are designed. So what does a starting pitcher have to do or not do in order to fall out of your favor?
From a starting pitching standpoint?
Yes, being named a starter, what do they have to do to lose that starting position job?
I think it could vary with different things. I mean, just the overall performance, the consistency was, got tired of doing that one that wasn't working, so you try somebody else, and they do better. To me, it's just about, you got to be able to get through a lineup more than once, right, or have the capability. But, this year maybe we don't have anybody just screaming that, hey, I can get through it more than once other than Graydon and Sonny. And I don't believe that's the case. I think there's others that can. Colby could have stayed in there. But just trying to figure out what's the best way to use the pieces of your staff and to be able to go and hopefully claim 3 games a weekend. And
it sounds like Crabtree is getting some more tread off of his tires. He's getting some mileage, getting more use out of him as a starter.
He is. He's done well. Like I said, he's kind of, to me, it's that third time through or that second time through. It's when things start getting a little different. But his first, 6-9 outs are pretty good, and and then you just got to be aware of that. So, but he's. I think he's growing as he goes, and he's done a good job. And whether it's getting, 6 or 9 outs at the beginning or the middle or the end, they're all just as important.
How have you liked McCarty coming out of the bullpen?
I really liked him, other than the other day.
Right.
I thought that I think during the last week, he threw really well and had some really good moments. Mm-hmm. He felt good and comfortable doing that. Obviously, he got away from him the other day. I think that was Friday's game, and just wasn't as consistent. And but overall, I think he's thrown the ball well when he's come out of the pen.
And Coach, what did you say to Colby Allen? He's a great kid, has been a great pitcher the whole time he's here. Undoubtedly, will bounce back. But what do you say to a kid who hasn't really had a lot of bad experiences like the one he had this weekend?
Wasn't anything you needed to say. He knows it. He doesn't need that sympathy, and he spoke to the team. He knew he let him down, and he wore that really hard. So I just gave him a vote of confidence, patted him on the back, said, "Move on, just move on," and because he's earned that right.
Well, he'll bounce back. I don't think there's any question. Hey, last question from me. And we've talked a lot about it on the show, and we talk to you every week. The team's a little above 500 after the last few weeks, after going 15-2, and yet, the people that judge college baseball, man, have not left your side. You remain a top 10 team after 3 weeks of what I've heard you say is not the level of overall performance you expect. But your thoughts about that, Coach? Your program really getting a lot of national respect.
I think with the work that we did do, we were a really good team. We still are a good team, even though you don't play your best all year, usually, I guess. And, but to me it also screams that, it's just great for the program, proud for that program. Rankings don't mean anything to us right now. And quite frankly, I'm surprised at some of those rankings. But I think it also shows you that the parity in the game. I think you're not going to be perfect. You don't have to go 4-0 every week and to be considered or to be in a position where you have some recognition or ranked or whatever. It's baseball's a game that's there's so much failure around it, and and I think just because of the fact that you had such a great start that you kind of came back to earth a little bit. You're working through it, and hopefully you get back in the sky, and get going again. And I feel like we're extremely close, but proud for the program to get the recognition it's getting.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it speaks, Coach, to not just this year, but previous years, and you and Scott and Travis and everybody that's been a part of the program for so long. So much hard work, and it's gratifying, I think, as a fan to see national media respect that.
Well, it is. I feel the same, and this program's earned that, and through just a lot of sweat and work, and competitors and warriors and whatever. But great fan base as well. So very thankful for it, and again, it's we're focused on today, and we're going to try to get better today. Then we'll move on to tomorrow, and so forth. So just kind of really worry about us, the guys that got on that plane this weekend. That's the guys we worry about.
Part of the coaching job is to make sure that guys don't smell themselves a little bit too much.
Yeah,
they're
in good hands.
Yeah, no, I know.
All you got to do is go talk to the players.
Yeah.
You'll find out real quick that they understand exactly how they're supposed to react on it. All right, Coach, as always, thank you very much, and we'll see you at the Pete tomorrow night.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, Coach Christian Ostrander. You told me you were encouraged over the weekend.
Yeah, I was pretty encouraged. I mean, it's kind of like 2 innings of pitching anomalies that caused that series to be competitive.
Right.
Obviously, it was in both games that mattered, and you just it's tough to lose one of those games as far as RPI is concerned and conference standing is concerned, because that really feels like you're kind of giving one back, if that makes sense to the league, because a lot of teams are going to sweep that team. But yeah, I mean, as far as the offensive perspective, I was very encouraged. I mean, if you would have told me that they'd had double-digit hits in all 3 games, I mean, I would have said that. I would welcome that.
But one of the weird things about the series, I thought, this weekend is that a break either way for either team.
Yeah.
Southern Miss could have swept the series. Old Dominion could have swept the series.
Yeah,
it was just
Old Dominion very well could have won the series. I don't know about swept, because Southern Miss pretty much dominated the Friday game.
They dominated the Thursday
game. Yeah, I'm getting confused. But the Friday, Saturday, of course, Old Dominion definitely could have won both of those games.
Yeah, it could have gone either way, the Friday, Saturday game.
And that's been the most consistent thing, I think, for Southern Miss all year. Now, they fell a little bit short in that comeback bid on Friday, but they've been pretty doggone good at winning the tight games.
And if Coach Oz may, and I'm not speaking for him, but may have sounded maybe a little weary, keep in mind they were on the East Coast all week, and he said that he laid his head down at 4 o'clock Easter morning.
Yeah, and I think I saw him at church at the 10:30 service at Temple Baptist Church. So he must have slept not very long.
So Coach probably a little bit fatigued today, understandably so. But they'll be back tomorrow night, 6 o'clock against UNO.
The Privateers.
Yes, and then 3 weekend games down in Cajun country. That's going to be fun. That ain't never anything but fun. We'll be right back.
Southern Miss to the top. To the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
All right, I want to thank baseball coach Christian Ostrander joining us every Monday. And we're pretty much aware of how a lot of coaches feel about talking to guys like us all the time. So we're very grateful that he's willing to do that, right?
Yeah, they're probably sitting at lunch and he goes, "Oh God, I got to do the Eagle Hour."
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
And you know what? That's okay. We get it.
That's okay, but he always does it.
Yeah,
and that's really what matters.
Right.
DBAT sponsors this segment of the show. They're located on Hardy Street, and that's where you go for baseball, softball training, all kinds of cool stuff down there. Got a great pro shop, really beautiful facility if you've never been inside. We appreciate all they do. As we do our really good friends at Forest Healthcare, they remind you that keeping up with your favorite team is fun, but you are the most important player. You be sure you get a physical, eat right exercise, do everything your doctor tells you to do to make your health as good as it can be. And if you run into problems, well, that's where the experts at Forest Health can help you with expert medical care right here close to home. I can speak from experience. They're very good. foresthealth.org. All right, guys, I wanted to bring this up, and then we'll get to some other sports. I just found this interesting. I ran into an interview this morning Nick Saban did on Network TV, and he was part of this group that met with President Trump a few weeks ago, and they discussed all the issues in the NCAA. And so Trump comes out with an executive order aimed at fixing college sports. Now, Nick Saban did say this needs to be approved by Congress, which throw your hat in the ring there and see what you think happens. But a lot of changes proposed, and two that I wanted to run by you experts and see what your thought. I'll start with you, Kelly. Number one, and I've advocated for this a long time, the executive order calls for there to be a limit of one transfer per student during their collegiate career, or thereafter you would have to sit out a year, as was the case in the old days. I think that right there would solve half of the problems facing college sports right now.
And I could be wrong, but I think that part two of the proposal, Bob, was that a player would only be granted
5 years.
5 years, right. Which that also would take care of a lot of the problems. Because when you look at some of these athletes now that are 27 and 28 years old and they're still in college, and they're going, well, why should I not come back for another year? Because if I use my degree, which many football players aren't even getting nowadays, because
Correct.
The transfer credits don't go from school to school when they transfer every year. They're going, I can make $1.5 million playing my final year at XYZ University. I don't even need a degree if I'm going to make $1.5 million. Right. So this stuff of guys being 27 and 28 years old.
Yeah. I
mean, when I went to school, if a guy was in college at 27, he was not a real socialite. Right? These guys were.
Right. Damon, one thing I heard Coach Saban say this morning, to Kelly's point, you got 26-year-old kids competing against 18-year-old kids in college football, and that just can't continue.
Yeah, and I'm just glad to see that the president trying to do something about it. He's probably been the only president that I can ever remember that's even tried to do something about it, and really, putting his hat in the ring. Now, it does have to be approved by Congress, or else it's not really that enforceable. But yeah, no, you're right, and I support a lot of the things that are inside that executive order. And like I said, I'm just glad that the president has issued a declaration like that. But and I just don't trust Congress right now with really anything. I mean, and I don't want to get into politics, but Congress has just done the president such a disservice in this term that, I mean, it's honestly just disgusting.
But it should have never had to go to that level. The NCAA should if they consider themselves to be a leadership body, then lead. Right. Don't make somebody else.
Well, here's the point.
Well, the problem is the NCAA is the one who's issuing all these quote unquote executive orders, because none of them are enforceable. Because the actual NIL stuff is pretty tight knit, but nobody's enforcing any of it, so everybody's going on there.
Well, another point he made this morning is until there is congressional action, anytime an athlete doesn't like the way they're treated, they're going to go to court.
Right.
They're going to find a federal judge that's sympathetic, and we all know about that now. And the problem will never end.
Right. And even we saw that with Trinidad Chambliss.
Yes,
correct. They just
at Ole Miss.
He found an Ole Miss judge.
They kept appealing till they found an Ole Miss sympathetic judge.
In literally the most random city in Mississippi. That was a courthouse probably as big as this office.
1,000% right, Damon. And that's the problem. There's too much judge shopping going on.
And it's not going to pass Congress, but at least by making the executive order, it keeps the idea on the front burner.
Here's why it won't pass Congress. Here's why. Because Trump's name's on it.
It's true.
That's right. I mean,
it really
whether
is.
you like that or not, that's just a fact.
I don't know. You're right, but I'm.
If Biden had this executive order, would it be passed?
Well, the Democrats would have jumped right on.
And I think the Republicans would have too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think our political system is so broken. It doesn't matter who's in there.
But back to the NCAA, we can all agree that these are some really common sense, basic things that would help get. And kids could still be making money, although there is a cap in the executive order, just like there is in the National Football League. And that is another thing that I heard Saban say this morning, that you literally have college players who have never proven themselves making more money than some NFL football players.
Yep, like a freshman coming in.
That is just ridiculous.
But it's allowed.
Right.
You can't blame the athlete.
Yeah.
You just can't blame the athlete. So that's
or their agents.
Yes.
Yeah, they all have advisors.
It's hilarious.
Technically, is it advisor? Yeah. All right, better subject, softball. Man, we're proud of these girls.
Man, they are playing well, aren't they? Coach Poole had said last week when we spoke with her that she was a little bit worried about James Madison because the Lady Dukes come in there, just hammering the ball, and scored 12 runs in the game, the first game win, 12-9, I think, or 15-9. Mm-hmm. They beat the Eagles 15-9 in game one, but then they switched the last two games to a doubleheader on Friday so that they could get out in case there was any bad weather, and the Eagles won both of them, including the second game by shutout. So you go from giving up 15 runs in game one to shutting them out in game three. That's another series win for the Eagles, and they've got some tough teams ahead of them. But man, this is just, and again, it just doesn't add up. As young as they are, they're winning these series.
They were picked second to last in the league in the preseason polls, and sitting there in second right now. Now they have the same situation that the baseball team has, where Marshall, the top team in the Sun Belt softball standings, they don't play them. So they're not going to be able to, catch up to them. Marshall 10-2, Southern Miss 8-4 in conference. So what they're going to have to do is just keep stacking these wins and hope Marshall loses. But yeah, they're really playing well. You have to be proud of them, and really anything how this season ends, is an accomplishment. You can't say that. Even if they were to lose some series or something like that, this is the most wins that Natalie Poole's ever had here at Southern Miss.
That's right. I heard complaining over the weekend from the ODU announcer about the fact that Southern Miss and Coastal are not playing in baseball. He brought it up several times and just talked about how it's unfair to everyone who follows Sun Belt baseball.
And
great point, I thought he made.
To carry it over to softball, there is no reason if you're in a conference that you shouldn't be playing everybody.
I agree.
And I don't know how you do it. You just start the weekend or the season one weekend earlier, or whatever, but there is it's a crime to the fan bases of all these teams.
I would be in favor of less non-conference weekends and more conference weekends.
Especially in a situation to where you let the teams, can you really call yourself a conference champion if you haven't played everybody? No. Particularly like Southern Miss in baseball.
Because two Sun Belt teams don't have softball teams, right? So there's actually two less teams in softball.
So that's even a bigger reason. Why they shouldn't be playing everybody.
Right. I thought we could go and look at the standings in baseball. Coastal in the top spot with an 11-1 conference record. Texas State in the 2 spot with an 8-4 conference record. Southern Miss and ULM tied at 7-5 in the 3 spot. And then you have a 5-way tie for 5th between Arkansas State, South Alabama, James Madison, Troy, and Marshall, and then a 4-way tie for last place between Louisiana, Georgia State, Old Dominion, and Georgia Southern. So still a lot to play for. Coming into this season, I thought the Sun Belt would be for sure a 3-bid league into the NCAA tournament between Coastal, Southern Miss, and Troy. But right now, guys, it's looking kind of sketchy for another team to get in outside of Southern Miss and Coastal Carolina. Texas State's probably about the best possibility right now. They have an RPI of 38, which is still pretty low for a Sun Belt team to sneak in there. But the other teams of contention between Troy, their RPI is sitting at 72 right now, and they're 15-17. So they would have to really turn it around for them to get into the tournament. Arkansas State seemed like a team that could make some noise, but they've fallen off a little bit. They are 19-12, but their RPI is 55, which is still a little too low for an at-large Sun Belt team. So
what about South Al? I always thought they were getting kind of scary.
They're playing well, but they're 6-6 in conference and have a 73 RPI. So that's just too low.
Yeah.
Really, Sun Belt teams, you don't want to be anywhere lower than about 40 to 45 to have a decent shot.
I should know this, but what does the Cajun record look like right now as the Golden Eagles get ready to head down there?
Overall, they're 19-13, so that's a good overall record. But in conference, they're 4-8. So they're one of those teams tied for last place. They're just coming off a series against.
Well, we got to get Jay on this one.
Against James Madison, and they lost that series against James Madison. Then they obviously almost got swept by ULM. So they've had a couple of rough weeks.
And because the standings are so tight and so close, even one loss in any of these series that you think you should win, you could drop anywhere from 3rd to 8th, or a tie for 7th or 8th, kind of like it was in basketball.
Sure.
Got to keep winning, guys. That's all you do. You just got to keep winning baseball games. And I don't think the Golden Eagles are in much of a position to lose a weekend series from here on out. I think they've got to win every series they play. It'd be nice to sweep a couple, but I guess we'll take the 2 out of 3.
We'll do what we can as fans, right?
I'm sure it's going to have a big impact. I checked the bridge. There wasn't anybody there on my way in today.
That's an improvement.
Let's give it till Tuesday night, about 9 o'clock. We'll be right back.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
All right, I want to thank Christian Ostrander for joining us every Monday. And as we say, we understand. I mean, we get it that sometimes people like Kelly are the last people coaches want to talk to. That's with women every day.
Yes.
But a lot of days coaches as well.
Yes, and I just want to say that we've had 6 national holidays, and it's still basketball season.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Hey, before we get to the never-ending basketball season, we'll remind you real quickly about Jewel Masters. That's where you go to sell your coins, your old jewelry, your silver, your gold. Man, gold, silver's valuable these days. So if you've got some laying around that you maybe just old jewelry you're not using or just whatever, if you got some gold necklaces or something, like Kelly has a lot of those, and probably couldn't wear all of them. You could take them to Jewel Masters where you took your grill and get top dollar from Marty Vick.
Yeah, and if you happen to be breaking into people's houses and hit the jewelry boxes, that's the first place you want to do.
Check that. That is not an editorial comment of the SuperTalk Eagle Hour.
If you see any teeth at Jewel Masters as well, that is also Kelly.
Those would be Kelly's. I did pull those 2 back molars out myself. Man, they were hard getting out. Then they just popped out all of a sudden.
I'm just saying, if I was looking for gold and I ran out,
it was like strange, boom, there it came.
The neighbor's jewelry box might not be a bad place.
When I walked up,
I don't doubt that actually.
When I walked up this morning, I looked at the sign and saw Kelly getting a bird on a string that was hanging from the SuperTalk sign.
Yeah, what happened there, Kelly? You were all upset when I got here.
I was, because there was a sparrow that was, our SuperTalk sign.
Oh, yeah, it's a bird home.
There's lots of birds up there.
And firstly, I do want to thank the employee over at the corner market that feeds them every afternoon. That's really good, but go ahead.
So this bird is hanging like somebody, like the old days when you got hung for killing somebody.
No, it really was.
It was hanging by a thread, and it was still alive, and my heart just went out for it.
Did you save it?
Well,
They cut the string and then watched the bird fall 40 feet and probably break its neck.
And it did. That's what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
We
like, why is it not moving? I was like, I don't know. Probably because I just dropped it 40 feet.
Well, we tried to catch him on the way down, but it was terrible.
Do you smell that?
Normal. Huh?
Do you smell it?
Smell what?
The Georgia azaleas.
Oh, he's talking about the Masters.
The freshly cut grass.
Come on, guys. I'm awake now. I don't want to get sleepy.
But a postscript on the birds.
Jim Nance.
Every time I walk in, the birds are looking down at me, and I look up at them.
Did you save the bird or not?
No.
It died on the way down. That's what I
just said. Did it?
But I always look up at the birds. And,
what'd you do with the corpse?
Michael Mergens, who played Jesus this weekend at his church, he I guess, either brought it back to life or disposed of it.
I'm not going to bet on that.
Yeah,
okay? I'm not going to bet on that.
Probably disposed of it.
You didn't leave it on the sidewalk, though, right?
No, Michael picked it up. Yeah. But every time I walk in, I look up at the birds and I look at them and I say, "Go ahead." Everybody else does.
Yeah, I wasn't very. That's just one less that I have to dodge when I'm walking in the door. So my sympathy level was pretty low, as you may have noticed. Yes. Kelly's all running around, Damon. He was all, "Oh my God, there's a bird! It's hanging! It's hanging!"
Well, he was still alive.
When they cut the rope and watched it fall 40 feet and said, "Why is it not moving?"
And then stepped on it and walked.
But at least it was instant when he hit the ground. It wasn't sudden.
Jeez.
By the way, I want to tell you both how much fun that was Friday, and I really appreciate all the people that came on the show. You guys were fun, and this thing's been quite a ride, man.
I can't believe it's been that long.
It's pretty hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, because when you get to be our age, Kelly, and you start thinking in 10-year periods, you get a little shaky about thinking 10 years ahead. Now, Dima, don't phase him. He's thinking 40 years ahead.
Well, not really. I'm thinking about 4 weeks ahead when my baby comes.
Yeah, well, life is going to change, so I'm going to go ahead and break that.
About 8 weeks from now.
Break that to you.
And hey, the way the world's going, he probably shouldn't think any more than 10 years out either.
Yeah, well, that's you really got it.
Rapture's coming.
Well, speaking of things that never end, basketball continues tonight, believe it or not. It started back before Halloween, and here we are rolling into April. Who you like tonight? I like Michigan.
I like Michigan too, and by the way, I just want to point this out, and I have no bearing to this whatsoever. If Michigan wins tonight, that would be the Big Ten winning the College Football Playoff National Championship, the Women's Basketball National Championship, and the Men's Basketball National Championship. Just wanted to point that out. If anybody listening is a Big Ten fan.
But it means more in the SEC.
It does. And Dylan Causey was just announced to be the starter tomorrow night against UNO.
Dylan Causey.
First
who you like tonight?
I like Michigan too, but
they look.
But you can't, man.
Dan Hurley, man, he's a good coach.
You're not kidding, man. What are they, 11-0 in post? I mean, they just don't lose.
He's a character.
I'm looking forward to the game. I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah.
UConn just does not lose. But congratulations to the Marshall women's basketball team who won the WNIT over the weekend.
Good for them.
Yeah, they played Arkansas State in the semifinals, beat them up in Jonesboro, and then won the WNIT over the weekend. So good news for the Sun Belt, a women's team.
That maybe one of them should have been a low seed in the NCAA tournament?
I don't. This our success. I say our, meaning the league's success in any tournaments other than their own tournament.
Well, the good news is they don't. We get basketball in about 2 months when the season starts.
That's exactly
back.
right. It's about ready to start back over.
Yeah, we got the Jay Ladner basketball camps next week, and then opening a camp.
Yeah, we'll be tipping off here in just a few days.
And really, I wanted to talk about that again. Really,
I've seen fencing up.
The NCAA. Why?
Take the fencing down before the opening tip-off.
Why is basketball season 6 months long when baseball and football?
I got a better question.
Are only 4 months long,
Kelly, and you contemplate this. Why is there still no construction at Reed Green Coliseum?
You want me to contemplate right here in the studio?
I want you to, no, that's not what I said.
Oh, okay.
I said I want you to concentrate and give me an answer tomorrow. I don't want you to do anything else in the studio.
Well, the glass is tinted.
He did kill a bird.
Southern Miss.
To the top.
Slipping into the future. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.